Hey guys, so big announcement time. I just typed up everything that I'm going to be sharing in written format, and it got emotional. And I thought to myself, that'll be good enough. I'm just going to share everything I wrote from the heart and these graphics, and that'll be good. And then I thought, wow, Miss Bold, Miss Feisty. I can't leave without showing up and doing this video, because the big announcement, I don't know, this might be bigger than some people expect, and other people are going to be like, oh. But for anyone who knows me or who has been around for a minute knows this is big. I am going to be leaving all social media for a year. And there's so many emotions in sharing that. It has not hit me yet. I have had moments where I've been kind of nauseous thinking about it. But just due to the gravity of it, I know it really fully hasn't hit me yet. And just to preface this, why some people are like, well, why is that a big deal? This is really all I've been doing and all I know since 2013. And it is a massive part of my life and livelihood. And God has asked me to give it up for a year for Him. And I had shared a post several days ago. I was sitting quietly and I wasn't praying, really wasn't trying to think, just sitting quietly with God, which is really difficult for me to do because I'm always running my mouth and my mind is always just thinking, it's going 90 miles per hour. And for whatever reason, I was so quiet and calm, intentionally so. And although I did not hear God's voice audibly, I didn't. It was Him impressed upon my heart 4 words. So certain. And it was, give me 1 year. And although there was no other message or impressions upon my heart, it was like I knew exactly what He meant by that. And so I haven't made this decision flippantly. I've put a few things in order, and I've talked to my business partner, and everybody knows that Abby and I own The Real Deal of Parenting together. We do a podcast together. She's my best friend. She's so extremely supportive of this. And actually, I have to have surgery in a couple weeks, and she's flying in to take care of me. I could not do life without her. We are still going to do the podcast that will start back up, resume late summer, early fall. But we are going to sell The Real Deal of Parenting. And there's a lot of emotions that come with that. But that's not what this is about. I have shared that, through the years, I've shared my love for God, and I've shared, humbly shared how I'm a sinner and I need God more than most. And I've even said on different occasions and interviewed on podcasts and in my writings before how I would even be honored to die for God, to be a martyr for him. Of course, I've put contingencies on that, like, you know, any selfish 42-year-old woman would, where it's like, please, Lord, but please don't let my children suffer. Please don't let me have to see them go through anything or allow them to be hurt. And anyways, it's so easy to show up and say we love God and post Bible verses, and then obedience is like a whole other world. I've done different social media fasts, breaks in the past. I've done like 21-day fast. I've done, I think a 40-day fast was probably my longest. A year is a lot. And, you know, is a single mom of 5, some people are probably going to call this move, can't even think of my words right now, just perhaps not being very careful or smart, when I have these little humans, a whole basketball team, to rely on me. And yet I'd be remiss to not, humbly admit, I'm scared. I'm extremely anxious to do this. And yet I know I have to, and I want to. I have these hunches on what I think, you know, a number of reasons that God wants me to do this. But I am no stranger to knowing that suffering unites us to Christ. And when God wants to refine us and to pull us closer, that doesn't happen without suffering and without hardship. And I'm very emotional about that part because it's extremely real for me. And so I know that everything to come is not going to be a walk in the park by doing this. But I do know it's the least I can do for God. And I truly want to be obedient and do this. So, so this is goodbye for a minute, and gonna miss all the banter and the connections and the conversations, but God willing, I will be back in a year. That is so crazy to say. I will be back in a year more bold and more feisty and more on fire for God than ever. And we'll see what happens and what God does in these 365 days. So the rest of tonight, I will be checking messages and comments. But as of tomorrow morning, as of July 13th, I will be off for a year. So I'll miss you guys.